I guess you're a good sound absorption. Are you feeling overwhelmed after the birth of your child, having to deal with your newborn, a recovering body, and your needy dog? Right? Did you start to feel hopeless, thinking you can't handle having both a dog and a baby? I felt the same way too. I was hating Snoop during my last semester of pregnancy, and at least 6 months after giving birth. This is Snoop. And you shouldn't feel bad about feeling that way, as it's more common than you might think. But if your dog is acting out after you brought home a new family member, most likely you're the one to blame. Hi, if you're new to my channel, my name is Luciana, and I like to overshare my experiences and bring awareness to the realities of being a mom and a woman that most people don't like to talk about. But I do. No BS, the style is raw. I'm allergic to bullshit. Bless you. So if you're into that, make sure to subscribe. In today's video, I'll share my experiences dealing with my dog after my pregnancy, which was pure frustration. I know, right? He knows it. How I was contemplating on finding him a new home, and what you should ask yourself if you are at that point. Because hating your dog after pregnancy is upsetting, but it's not the end of the world. And if you were a dog mom before being a human mom, then most likely you hated your dog at some point during your motherhood journey. So let's talk about it. First, a little background about my experiences with dogs before we move any further. I love dogs. I grew up in a beautiful country home back in Brazil, and at any point in time, we would have at least 10 dogs at home. My mom used to stop the car and adopt every time we would find an abandoned puppy on the road, which unfortunately happens quite often in Brazil. Therefore, I grew up with lots of dogs, and I loved my childhood with them. I used to run with them around the house, swim with them on the lake, bathe them, separate their fights, help our housekeeper remove botfly larvae from their legs. Disgusting! You know, the usual countryside life with dogs. I love dogs so much that I used to say that having them is better than having kids. And in some ways, I still believe that. Are you gonna say sitting on me throughout the whole recording? I guess I will. And because I have so much experience with dogs, and I truly enjoyed them as pets, but I also felt the rage and anger towards my dog after having a baby, I want to shed some light on why mothers would even consider removing their pets from their lives once they have to deal with both dogs and babies, and what you should consider before making a decision. You're free to go at any point. Now let's answer the question. Why would you be hating your dog after pregnancy? In short, because of your hormones. And because you only have time and energy for yourself and your baby. The drop in hormone levels after giving birth can lead to emotional imbalance and depression. And when you pair it with a dog that is not adjusting well to having a new pack member, that means your baby, it can lead to problematic interactions, where you will most likely prioritize your baby. Let me paint a picture for you with a personal example. You are a few weeks in after childbirth. It's the middle of the night. You are dead, so tired, trying to enjoy those short 2 hours of sleep before your baby wakes up again. You have just wasted precious sleep time by taking a shower, so you can feel a little bit more like the human being that you are, underneath that skin full of dry breast milk and baby drool. Then, as soon as you lie down in bed, soft like this, your dog starts to scratch the living room floor, frenetically, for some unknown reason, which usually happen at extremely inconvenient times, like baby sleeping time. And if you have a small baby, you know how dreadful it is to have your baby woken up early after you worked so hard to put him or her to sleep. Now imagine having that happen to you regularly. It's maddening. That's what this guy did, and still does to this day. With the light sleep and superpowers you've developed as a new mom, your enhanced hearing will pick up every single noise in the house. So the first thing that comes to mind is how you wish the dog would just stop. First, because the dog might wake up the baby, and you really need the rest. Second, because you don't have a drop of energy left to ignore how annoying that is. You don't even think about why the dog is behaving like that. Maybe your dog is bored to death, because now you only have the time for the mini you. And he's just trying to let go all of his built-up energy. Or perhaps he found something fascinating on that specific spot, on your ceramic floor. Who knows? Or maybe he's doing it on purpose. Yes, dogs have feelings too. Because you've been ignoring him for a long time now, since you brought your newborn home. But during the postpartum period, you don't think about anything else, besides you and your child's well-being. Once I started to get fed up with all the bad behaviors, I also noticed how sad our dog's life had become. When I would stop yelling at him and calm down, I would get upset with how I was treating Snoop. After all, he was just acting out because he was trying to be part of the family. According to the research I've done on why dogs might misbehave when you bring home a baby, our dog had become a side character in our lives, waiting for us to call him to play or be petted. But we never really included Snoop in our family activities because he never really wanted to interact with our son. Snoop was afraid to get close to Thomas and would get jealous when my husband and I were playing with our son, like trying to get in between us, but then always complaining when Thomas would try to touch him. Thomas! Thomas! Snoop live. Bless you. Bless you. Oh, bless you. Bless you. Bless you. Hey, dogs, my spot. Come here. Come to mama. Good boy. Ah, I got it here first. Well, no, you didn't, but... He doesn't want to let you touch him, Bobo. Look, German Spitz are not the best breed for small kids. But we got Snoop way before thinking about getting married. So we weren't even thinking about having kids back then. He's turning 10 years in March. You old gizzard. So with that behavior and no time or energy left to deal with our dog's issues, we would just ignore the signs and shove him aside. Most days, I wouldn't even notice my dog was there, if it wasn't for all the attention-seeking behavior. But don't call Pete on me, okay? We were still giving him the basics, like water, food, a warm place to sleep, and taking him for walks twice a day for peeing and pooping. But that was it, we weren't doing more than that. So I dwelled many times on the idea of not having to deal with my dog's problematic behavior, as being a new mom was enough of a tall order. And I really started considering giving him away, finding him another family with the time and patience to give him the attention he needed, but unfortunately wasn't getting from us. I couldn't find within me to tolerate or cope with my dog's bad behavior
every single day,
while caring for a newborn at the same time, plus making his life miserable in the process. We were both having a shitty time, weren't we? I honestly believed we would be better off without a dog, that life would be less stressful, and that he would have a better life with a family that would give him everything he deserves. It has been 2 years now since I've changed my mind regarding my newfound love and hate relationship with my dog. And as you can see, my dog's still here. So now let's talk about a few points that you should consider if you are hating your dog after having a baby, before throwing the towel on a responsibility you chose to have.
If you are having problems with your dog, most likely you're the one to blame.
I'm usually not a judgmental person, but it's vital to acknowledge the root cause of the issue. When the feeling of, "I want this dog out now," surfaces, you must stop and ask yourself, why is this happening? Why is my dog giving me a hard time? The problem usually lies in an inadequately trained, infrequently exercised, and poorly adjusted dog, and human. Excessively barking, frustrated digging, calling for attention, acting out by eating poop out of diapers. All of these behaviors are telling you something. You used to treat your dog a certain way, had a specific routine, and all of a sudden, everything changed. How do you expect him or her to react? While some of these are natural behaviors, when your dog is adjusting to the new sibling, these unwanted attitudes can be fixed with proper training and guidance. You just have to find the strength within you to muscle through the situation. In an article by Heidi Murkoff on whattoexpect.com, she says, let me quote it, "Try not to be mad at your mutt. His misbehavior is his misguided way of getting your attention. In his eyes, even a scolding is better than a cold shoulder. Rather than banishing Scooter to the doghouse, now is the time to send him some clear signals about how you expect him to act before the rivalry turns serious. Also, dogs need to be active to release energy, so they can actually hear and obey commands. First exercise, then discipline, and then affection. A daily walk that truly drains all of your dog's energy will go a long way."
Deciding to keep your dog or not.
When making decisions about your pet's life, please remember it's never the animal's fault. Most imbalanced dogs are, in general, a product of bad owners, willingly or not, myself included. Now, the question that remains is a moral and perhaps a financial one too. Even if you are hating your dog after pregnancy, will you honor your responsibility for your adopted pet and put in the time, or money if you can do it yourself, it will take to exercise, play, and train your dog? Or will you give up and hopefully find a better family for your pet? The second option is the easy way out, but it will most likely leave you regretting it later. Why? Because if you are a dog person, and I assume you are, if you have a dog in the first place, you will eventually feel ashamed for not trying harder and treating your dog better when you had the chance. That's what made me keep Snoop. I told myself I should try and make it work, because he's a responsibility I chose to have, and he deserves for me to try harder for him. But if you are going through the rehoming route, either because you really don't think you can handle it, or because you can't afford to keep your dog,
do it the right way at least.
Do your research. Find groups and shelters with a good adoption program. Make sure your dog will be in good hands. Because if you leave your pet at a public shelter, probably the chances of being adopted will be slim to none. And the dog might end up being put down. Is that the life you want for the dog you used to love? Sorry, I'm shouting in your ears. So think long and hard about it. It's not an easy decision. Maybe leave the dog with the in-laws for a few weeks, or with your friends, to give you a break before making a harsh decision. I did that as well. My husband took Snoop to his parents' home to give me a break, because I was like, I can't have him here. You're not at home to help me, so you deal with this. Take Snoop to your parents, and give me a break. Remember, you're very emotional, you're very hormonal, you're tired. Having a break from what is upsetting you is the best option. It really helped. Like I said, he's still here. But obviously, in the end, each and everyone knows what they can and cannot handle. So as long as you think about what's best for the animal, and not only what's best for you, you shouldn't feel bad about your decision.
Just don't be a selfish bitch.
As the saying goes, don't let perfect be the enemy of good. I managed to suppress my resentment towards my dog and his bad behavior. And during that time that I was struggling with being a mom, I tried to give him the bare minimum instead of getting rid of him. And it worked. Our dog is still with us. And although he still annoys me to my core sometimes, I don't want him to disappear from my life anymore. And that's it. This is what I had to say about the subject. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please hit the like button. Found something there on my microphone? Sorry. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Share the video with a friend that might be going through the same situation. And I'll see you on Saturday. Bye!